Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beast Games Book Club, where three highly acclaimed authors get together to talk about Beast Games, episode 5 of season 2. And we're so back because the greatest game from Beast Games season 1 is back here in season 2 in dramatic fashion, and we'll talk about it. But first, which one of us will get handcuffed and leave the podcast right now? Let's find out. Of course, here with us, the author of Behind the Mirror. It's the great Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm doing great. I feel very good about this setup because, listen, if you want any Survivor representation to survive on Beast Games, one of you is going to have to take the bullet because I'm not.
That is a tough spot. Okay.
Sorry.
We have kids, think of our families.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want one of your families to still have a chance.
I do suspect the person of the three of us apt to exit from any podcast might be the author of Escape! ! It's Stephen Fishbach. Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. Honestly, I feel like, Taran, of the three of us, you probably have the best chance of winning the Beast Games. I'm happy for it to be Rob or me who goes home, and specifically, I'm happy for it to be Rob who goes home.
I'm with you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stephen, you were not here with us last time out when we talked about the big Survivor crossover event, and I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys said was so apt. First of all, it was super fun, like one of the more exciting episodes of Survivor. Like, it was fun to see Jeff in a different element with, like, I think Rob, you had said, like, it was fun to see him like bouncing off of Jimmy and just like having that kind of bantery camaraderie almost, and that Jimmy also brought something new to it, which MrBeast also brought something new to the energy. And that final tribal was so moving, and I do think just having these contestants with families who are like putting it all on the line for that money is almost something like we miss a little bit in Survivor. I don't feel like we get these sort of like emotional, heartfelt pleas. It's more like, I played the game and I had this secret and I did this strategic move. And, I kind of miss when the jury was just awarding it to the person who needed it the most, because you really had that emotion come out.
Well, it's something I've talked about a lot over these last couple of years, especially in the new era of Survivor, that they almost never talk about the money on Survivor. If anything, I think one of the few times it's come up is with, ironically, Jesse Lopez, who his son Gio actually won money on MrBeast, where hey, I need this money for my family. Everything else on Survivor is about people's journeys and what this would mean to me and how much I've grown, that there's very little like people pleading of like, hey, I really need this cash.
Yeah. And that was what do for me. That was like the motivating force. I feel like back in the day, people were like, I've got to make it, I get one more spot and I get, and it does, I do feel like that is a more compelling story, especially now in this economy, when I feel like a lot of people are struggling. I think that would be, maybe they like should go back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, especially like the current landscape of reality TV feels like it's moved away from that. Like the Traders has the cash missions or whatever, but it just feels so irrelevant to the overall plot of something like the Traders. Then you have all these other shows that really they focus on like celebrity casts or like returning player casts, and it's not about like a big prize money at the end of the rainbow. I guess Deal or No Deal Island kind of was, but that didn't last very long. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to get to talk about. I thought this was the best game they played on Beast Games Season 1, and I was so pumped up that they brought it back here. The put everybody in the cube and one must go challenge.
Yeah. It's compelling. And it was different this time in that like we had really built up the characters beforehand this time.
Yeah. Whereas I think it was like the second or third episode of season 1 where we still had like 100 people and there were so many cubes and there was so much going on here, that this was a little bit more of a just real intense question of, we have come to know so many of these people. And so it was really much more, I think, emotionally dramatic in terms of like which person was going to leave from each of the cubes.
Yeah, we knew them. They had relationships. They knew each other, which like mattered a lot. They had like, there was more texture to the difference between them. Some of them had won money, obviously. Some of them had sacrificed for each other previously. So it just was like the decisions were a lot more nuanced in a way that was really interesting and exciting. I think one of our critiques in our first episode of our book club was that the game wasn't there. And, we should have trusted the Beast games because they brought it back and they brought it back at a great time.
They brought it back in a good spot. Okay. Steven, did you have any thoughts about how the island episode ended up playing out and pouring out into this episode?
Yeah, so they come back and they kind of like tease like these are the people it's not. They sort of like everybody thinks that JC is going to be the one who got the island. They all think which I guess like Ian is considered a villain like in that group.
Yeah, so they flash back, and I had kind of forgotten about this, where that people thought he was the villain because he pushed a guy off during the during the wipeout obstacle course. You're the villain, Ian.
Right.
But on Survivor Island, he's beloved.
Yeah. And then JC, it was great. I honestly, like, even before they got to the boxes, I thought like it was such a dynamic segment where they have JC kind of like being, Machiavellian and like using oh, they're against you, and like building alliances and spreading rumors and lies. And I think one of the critiques of Beast Game season 1 was that the personalities were not as strong. And here you really had a strong, interesting personality, wreaking mayhem in Beast City.
Yeah, I mean, JC, and then this cliffhanger at the end of this episode, just to bounce around, because we're talking about JC, I mean, this ends on such an interesting cliffhanger in terms of JC. He had the great moment, Taran, where they got the coin. They're like, what does this coin mean to you? He's like, leverage. And now here he is trying to leverage that coin into getting Jim to walk away. That JC is like the Ben Linus of Beast games.
Yeah, he's really the epitome of like now I have to be the villain, because his whole journey throughout season 1 was like this benevolent, like self-righteous, like, hey, I'm a good guy, I'm gonna look out for my people, and it all comes crashing down at the end when he takes the money, and now he's just embraced that role of like villain until he's in a situation where he needs to be like, but I regret it actually. Damn it. Okay, fine. I'll use my leverage on you then. It's very much the Ben Linus here. I like that comparison. Yeah. I thought this was compelling of him, talking about what happened on the island, using it as a way to gather allies, and put himself in a good position. Now, I will say, I think his choice of group was maybe was interesting.
You didn't like that he was the third wheel with the Showmance?
I think it can be very useful, but you need to know how to like play it correctly. He does go for it at the end here, but like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. We don't really know what the outcome is, but it's definitely, I would say, like I did it at the start of this podcast. Mm-hmm. I think that your best shot, if you don't have somebody willing to give it up for you, if you don't want to play a game or do chance, is to go in with a pair, because they won't want both of them to lose. And the idea is, if you say, there's nothing you can do to make me handcuff myself, if you want at least one of you to stay in the game, one of you will have to sacrifice for the other one. Which he could have done here, potentially.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
I wonder if when he had this idea, because, okay, so that you have Jim and Monica, and they are the king and queen of Beast City, and everybody's favorite showmance of Beast games. And so they both agree, okay, Monica is safe no matter what. And so he's going to play Jim in this game of chance, and ultimately he loses. But was he saying like, okay, he's sort of like, heads I win, tails I've got this other piece of leverage where I'll say, hey, Jim, if I lose, don't you want Monica to stay? I'll give her the thing if you step away from the game, where I wonder if it's going to work.
I thought he was like laying the groundwork for that, even when they were saying, like, we both want this to be you and you to go forward. I feel like he sensed weakness in Jim, that he was more likely to give it up for her rather than she for him. And so, like, he was kind of like building that in. And then he was going to play the game. And if he won, great. He got to look great. Oh, we're all best friends. We love each other. But then if he lost, that's now he's going to like put the screws to them.
Yeah.
I do think, I think that the cube game is all about leverage. And once you play a game and you lose so much of your leverage, like social credibility. And so like the fact that Jim has now experienced winning the game, thinking he's in, I think he's so much less likely to give up his spot willingly.
Well, look at the guys, the brothers, right? That they weren't willing to step away. And I forget what they did with that woman, where they basically, like, they played a game and they said, no, we're not going to step away. And then they brought those guys back.
It's true.
They just brought the one. They brought
one of those guys back. Yeah. Wait, will this work? Will Jim step aside so Monica can get the coin, and will JC continue?
I hope so. I hope he steps aside, because I think JC is a much more compelling character.
Sure.
And
I hope so too.
And I think that it can work. I don't know what the logistics are in terms of, like, is he allowed to give the coin to somebody? I didn't know that was part of the rules.
It sounded like Beast was like okay with it, right? When he presented it to, and I'm sure Beast is like, obviously we want that to happen, it sounded like Beast was okay with it when they or Mr. Beast.
He's definitely okay with it. I mean, I have always said that, the rules are what the rules are until, like, it would be good TV to sort of like fudge the rules. So I think definitely in Beast games, that's the policy.
What's your take, Rob? Is Jim stepping down?
I'd be like, Mr. Beast should step in. Like, hey, also Jim, if you step in, I'll give you $100,000
exactly.
If you step away from the game. I think that I think he won't. I think he shouldn't, because if Monica wins $10 million, she's also not going to give Jim the time of day.
Yeah.
Also, you can't trust JC to do anything. Like, this is.
And 2 chances in the final 13 at the 5 million is better than 1 chance at 10 million.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking that through.
I mean, I guess probably that the odds are not correct on that, right? But like, they're probably equivalent.
I think maybe the idea would be that if she holds the coin, she has a better chance of making it, because people won't target her.
Yeah. That's a really good point. So then you're increasing her but didn't work for him. Didn't work for him in the one game he played.
Again, kudos to Beast Games for a really good cliffhanger.
Yeah. I thought your point last week, Taran, about like by the time we got to the next episode, like I didn't actually care who pushed the button. I will say that did drive my tune in for the next episode. Like I was excited to see who pushed it, even though when it actually happened, I didn't care that much, ironically. But like the desire to watch was there, which I guess is like, the ultimate goal.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of these groups that end up in the cubes, or I guess rather than talk about them specifically, which one stood out?
I mean, of course, the thing with Ian choosing Briley and, instead of whoever the other
Ethan.
Yeah. Thank you.
Poor Ethan.
Yeah, I know. What a bleak arc. And they didn't the thing about Beast Games is if you're stupid, they'll have a montage of everybody saying you're stupid. And you're going to watch it back and just like watch like the whole cast being like, wow, what an idiot.
Yeah. So Ethan ends up being in one of the only groups that has just 2 people, him and this woman, Katie, who we didn't really get to learn about a lot until this episode.
Yeah. And makes the wild choice of saying to Ethan as he is having to handcuff himself, I was happy to be in here with him because I don't care about it.
Yeah. But honestly, like that is such an interesting choice that most of the groups made to be with people they liked. Like I would, because like we saw that in season 1, everyone's with groups of people they liked because they thought they were grouping up to do a task together. And then they're like, oh my God, we're in here with people we like. What a mistake that was. And here knowing what the stakes are, they choose that again. Like, what do you guys make of that?
It's interesting because I feel like that when you go in there with people that you don't care about, you tend to get screwed over. So I kind of feel like that when you are in there with somebody that you like, that there is some increased chance that that person will have like some sort of personal sacrifice for you.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to. Multiple groups had plans clearly from the start. Like JC, I don't remember. Or JC is the other guy. The guy that took the million
JT
was like pretty clearly gonna sacrifice himself, I think. Jeff goes in there, he's gonna sacrifice himself.
Yeah, so it seems like that the emergent gameplay is like, if there's somebody who has won a big prize either in this season or in a past season, go in the room with them, because that you guilt that person into. We saw everybody that won stuff, Ian, JT, Jeff, like people who have been past winners of stuff, that they will then, okay, all right, I can't be this much of a greedy jerk. All right, I won something. I'll hand hook up myself.
That's your leverage.
Jeff is like the saint of Beast games. He's just there like lift people up. He's gonna be on every season. You know, they even kind of like alluded to that. Like he's gonna be on every season, just like, I'm there for the community. You know, I'm there for us.
He's there for the Beast games community.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, he is indisputably the GOAT of Beast games. I mean, making it all the way to the top 20 in this version. Granted, he started about halfway through, so we got through about 80 people. But he won the previous game, and then he doesn't get eliminated. He bows out at the right time. So he doesn't even like lose a game per se. And he gets like to have a moment to look like a hero. This guy just keeps winning.
He is a hero. Like, he would like never ever do anything underhanded ever on any Beast games. Like, I would trust Jeff with my life. Jeff for president.
Yeah, honestly,
I feel like I could really trust him.
And he's great at the games. He was amazing at the Survivor Challenge, where he just like aced it instantly. Like it was so beautiful the way he like wrote out the website on the wall. Everything is just like, he's so classy, and he held JC to account, you know, for his moral choices.
Yes.
Yeah, love him.
We love Jeff.
Yeah, he's great. He's honestly a great reality TV character. Like he needs to be in like I mean, maybe he shouldn't be on a different show because he's clearly so. But like Jeff and the Traders, like that'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting, and also he has like this backstory with his son, has this disease that he's trying to raise money for.
Yeah.
Are we sure he's real? Have we checked into this?
That's what I mean.
Is Jeff an actor?
Yeah.
He's like at Essential Casting.
And he's so handsome, and he's got like the whole silver fox thing. It really is like.
Look, can we do a background check on Jeff?
Wild.
Yeah, because it looks Mr. Beast has a lot of money. Like maybe is Jeff AI?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you can see it.
It could be.
Gotta be cheaper than the 10 million for the prize pool.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about Sue Smay. Poor Sue. What the hell? To the people that screwed over Sue, shame on you.
That was a nice little reveal.
Let me look up Jack and Tyler.
I thought this was the best moment of the episode. Probably.
Yeah, frickin' Jack. Yeah.
So he sets it up so that he's stacked the deck, like literally.
Yeah.
And has a backup stacked deck in case Sue decides to shuffle it. This is phenomenal work.
They honestly undersold it in the episode. Like you wanted like a whole like strange, you know, what's the Moby song? Like Extreme Ways.
Extreme Ways, yeah.
Extreme Ways, yeah. Has Sue Smay commented on this yet? Sam, have we seen any social media reaction from Sue Smay? Did she know about this?
Yeah, I wonder if she found out immediately.
F with Sue. Like, she does not seem like the type of person that you should trifle with. I bet she's pissed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that she's like, oh yeah, he got me good.
What is the point? Do you need to stack the first deck? I guess you do need to stack the first deck. That way you don't have to like do the second, you know, in case you don't even need the second deck. That's just like that.
Yeah, if she doesn't end up
shuffling it.
Yeah. But
Or cutting it.
they did it very, like, they hinted at it, and I was like, wait, did I miss what? Did they say what he did? And then it wasn't until like after the whole thing was over then that he did this reveal. But I really was like, hold on, do I have to go back and rewind this because
I had the same
felt like
thing.
I missed something.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to have known what they were talking about, and so I was like, I hope they'll eventually tell us what they were talking about. It almost makes me wonder if this works better without telling us ahead of time that something happened, because I don't know that it added that much other than a little bit of confusion for me. But it still was really fun. I mean, especially like the way that he's like, Sue, you're such a wonderful person. You've changed my life. And he comes out and he's like, I outwitted the survivor.
Yeah. I'm dying to know if she had a reaction to this. Do you think they told her?
You don't think she's watching? She's
Well,
like,
no, I think that. Do you think that? I'm sure the
Oh,
cast is in,
afterwards,
like, a
they were
group
like,
chat.
hey,
I'm sure did
right.
somebody like, hey, Sue, remember when you took the cards in the room? Like, I stacked the deck.
So she's had chance.
Maybe it'll come back. There's plenty of episodes left. Maybe Sue will be sticking around in some capacity.
Could we talk about Sue's run here on Beast Games? Because I think that she probably was the unlikeliest of all these Survivor players, of people who have like big resumes. And I know Sue is a Survivor finalist, so maybe bad job on us by sleeping on Sue. But this was very impressive for her to get this far in Beast Games.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of her before Survivor Island. Of course, she was a huge character there. She's runs out, gives Jeff a hug. You know, is the captain of that team. Made some questionable choices, and then
How'd she end up with these guys? Did she have any previous relationship with these two guys that she's in the room with?
It seemed like they just kind of like
Frickin'
approached
Jack
her and
and
she was like,
Tyler?
okay.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, we're so close to each other. We all love each other here. You know, I mean, obviously, like, we don't see all the relationships that they do develop. And I'm sure, like, you know, they approached her as Survivor fans. But this was really the first moment for like the brains, right? Like, have we seen like a real brains moment so far? This whole like brains versus brawn thing. Fitting that it was like the guy who's boy genius. Isn't that his Chiron?
Oh, I didn't realize that's what he did.
Yeah, they'd really set this guy up too, like a while ago in the first couple episodes. They were like, this was the guy that was like courting the bronze, like, oh, I'm gonna get in with them. Really came out strong. I mean, especially considering how many big names we lost in this episode. I think he starts to stand out as one of the biggest characters left now.
Karen, what's your strategy going into these boxes? Like, you're in this cast of 20. Like, who are you going for, and what's your what are you asking on the phone, and like, what is your like overall game plan?
Were you trying to snake me out here, Steven?
I just feel like you have so much like game strategy about all these things. I feel like you probably have like a plan here already.
I mean, obviously the best plan is to go in with somebody who's willing to sacrifice themselves, if that's possible. If that's not possible, like I said, I think being in there with I think worst case scenario, barring anything else, get in there with a duo that's potentially going to be willing to sacrifice themselves to, if only to like protect their other member of the duo to make it forward. By saying I'm not going no matter what. But there are options before that, because that's kind of like your Hail Mary. I think that like getting some kind of suggestion in there for a game that you're going to be better at or probably going to win, like what they did to Vance was very clever. Of like, here's a guy who is pretty disliked and doesn't seem to know it. So let's do like a poll from the audience, from the other players. Something that you know you're going to win, something that you can collude with another of the players on. I think we saw one of those in the previous season where they were like playing cards or like Go Fish or something, and like they were like cheating, like somebody had like a mirror to show the other person like the hands. Like there's a lot of different ways that you can approach it, but it's so dependent on like the group of people you end up with. But I think like the last thing I would actually want to do is like actually play a game of chance and just hope.
Yeah, well, it's such an interesting game. And of course, like its spiritual cousin is like the marbles game from Squid Game, but that is sort of like just a heads up. And we end up seeing often in Squid Games, both real and scripted, where it ends up being a pair and somebody having to sacrifice for the other person. But here, yeah, it's so interesting with the group of three because it tends to be, you know, how do two of the three people collude to get the third person to agree to some kind of rigged or unfair game?
Yeah, which is again why, and the thing is though, like once the other two start colluding, if you realize it, you can then play the like, well, you know what, it's not fair because you two are working together. So I think it's only fair that you choose between the two of you, which one's gonna handcuff themselves.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it.
It really is amazing that we've had so few true impasses in this game through now 2 seasons of this, where that we had in season, going back to last season, we didn't even have like a true impasse this season where somebody's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not handcuffing myself. I know I said it, but I'm not doing it.
Well, it
I
seemed
think-
like Beast wanted that, right? Like he kept on, you really don't have to give up. And I wonder if, you know, we were saying the strength of doing this game later in the season is that they all know each other. But of course, like that probably creates less, you know, that like stops that impasse from happening.
Yeah, I do. Oh, go ahead.
I think that comes down to, because this is a decision I wanted to talk about, because in the first season, they didn't allow them to choose their own groups. They like tricked them into it. And this season they said, choose your own groups. And while I think there is potentially some positives to that, we had some interesting storylines that stemmed from that. There are some downsides, which are that, like, as we discussed, like 3 or 4 of the groups went in knowing exactly what was already going to happen. And so that only left a couple of groups that even had any amount of contention. And those groups were people who already liked each other and were less likely to debate, which meant that the most compelling potential was this leftover group with Ethan and Katie, where he kind of hesitated, but eventually was like, well, what can I really do? Because there's only 2 of us in here. You know, I can essentially just kamikaze us both. And so I think that maybe this would have been a little more interesting if they had been forced into groups,
you know,
instead of being able to choose.
It was interesting because we really knew everybody here, almost everybody, to do it at this particular point in the season. But I wonder, because of doing it earlier in the season, we had more cubes and we had more possible different outcomes. And there was a little bit more of people asking for different random things, which I think led to like a more fun montage of all the different rooms and all the different things that were happening. That I think that having more opportunities for crazier outcomes to happen, I think I liked having it earlier in the season.
I do think there are positives to it, but it was so different because while we did get a wider variety of outcomes, I cared less about those outcomes than I did in this one. And so there is a bit of a trade-off. I think it was fun. And I think if anything, that round was like the first round where I really started to care more about some of the characters that season. Whereas in this one, I came in caring more about them. And each one felt like a monumental thing. Like this cube has chosen, and like that felt cool as they, you know, went down one by one.
I guess what I really loved about it was the novelty of it in season 1, where there were people and they were like, wait, we can ask for anything. And people were just like coming up with like all sorts of like off the wall things. And I feel like that maybe because this was later in the season and the gravity of what they had to do was so much greater, that I felt like that we did not really see a lot of like creative phone calls of people like, okay, can I get a filet mignon? Can we get beanbags in here? But nobody was like, can we get puppies?
Yeah.
You know, I love that. I think that was what was like, you have a phone, you could have anything.
Do you think they told them like no puppies? You know, let's be reasonable here, folks.
I just felt like that this season, I think that they were really a little bit, because we were further along and we were more focused on the game. Like I felt like that the players weren't really calling up asking for, and it's not the production's fault, but I felt like that we weren't really looking for just like insane things to fill the room with.
Yeah, but this is a good go ahead.
I think from my perspective, that's like not necessarily the most interesting part of this game is like the random stuff. Like honestly, I can barely remember what they ordered in season 1. There was like a clown at one point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really,
I just thought that was so fun, and I had never
It is
seen anything
fun.
like that before.
Yeah.
And I felt like okay, this is something I can only see in Beast games, where this had like more emotional stakes, but like I felt like that there was less fun.
Fair.
They should just like keep this as like one of their key tentpole challenges, and then just have it at different points. Like next time it's going to be the final 3, and like only one. I mean, that would suck if they all got eliminated. So that wouldn't work. But you know, like right there at the end, the final 5 or something.
You know, like I feel like that you're in a empty room with a phone and you could call up and ask for anything. This could have just been you're in a room with like magic markers, dice, and a deck of cards, and now ultimately like handcuff somebody to the room. Like the creativity of the players, I felt like at this point in the game that it was less frivolous.
I mean, the psychological torture. I mean, I thought this was great, and I liked that they all knew each other. I like that I knew them. I like that there were stakes to each of them. But like last one felt like, I mean, really shocking. You know, this sort of like crazy psychology of like these people like forcing each other to do this impossible decision. And I guess you're right that it's probably partially because of just like how many people there were.
You know, Taran, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like also there was a ticking clock last time also where this is like there was no time limit.
Yeah, so that was a major change here as well, which is that in the first season, they had a time limit. And if you didn't come to a decision by the time limit, you were all eliminated. In this one, there was no time limit, though, quite frankly, I assume that at some point,
they got to move on. They're on schedule. Yeah. But was this missing the ticking clock?
Yeah, because that's what the leverage gives you, right? Like when you're not, or like saying I'm not going to quit, like people are watching that clock tick down. You're like, oh, we've got to do something.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that adds to your leverage in the spot where I'm talking about, where you're Hail Marrying and you're like, hey, you're in a Showmance. You're either both out or one of you is out. We got 10 seconds, right? Like at that point, somebody probably does the handcuff. Yeah.
We saw that one of the things that people did ask for was Starbucks, and we do have the 24-hour Starbucks in Beast City. 3 guys ended up winning 1 Starbucks drink a day for life. And I'm very interested just to know about the logistics of how that Starbucks gift is it like, do I have like a unlimited like $5 a day gift card at Starbucks? Like, does it say I can have 1 drink a day for free at my local Starbucks? Do they just know this?
I think this is like a thing that's existed before this, where like they've got like the star card, you know, and like you go in and you're like, yep, here's your drink. Here's your drink for today.
There's a Starbucks card that you can just get a drink for free a day?
No, I mean, I don't know if it's like a card or whatever, but I don't think this is the first time they've ever done like the like coffee for life thing.
It's like the equivalent of like AMC A-list. It's just like, you know, you just get to for free order a drink.
Do you think when you go in every day, is it like annoying for the like, oh, it's the guy that has the card?
No, they don't have to ring them up. It's fine. Like, oh, thank gosh, you
easier.
know, there's a busy line.
They
like
have to ring them up. You can't just like, okay, take
flash
that's
the card.
it's on the house.
But how do they ring that up? How do they charge that? I can't. You know,
I think they still have to put it into the computer. I bet it's complicated.
Yeah.
Maybe the first, but then you see the same person come in every day. It's like, well, you didn't lose your lifetime supply, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
I feel like it streamlines things.
Okay. We didn't talk about Ian, the island winner, who ends up stepping aside. Steven, would you have kept the private island?
No, I think not. I think that was the right choice. Yeah, I love your interview with him where you talked about the logistics of like, and like also like it was open. Like, you know, even when he was there, he was like, I can see a lot of monkeys and birds flying in here. You know, it seems like very beautiful for a visit, but like if I am sleeping in here, like, you know, is there like a malaria issue?
Yeah, I didn't understand the weather.
I think Jimmy just re-gifts it.
That's what I'm saying. I think that he just buys it back and then gives it away again.
Yeah. And the property value just goes up. Next season will be a $2 million private island.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is that bad form to regift an island that's been gifted back to you already?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, it has a legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy Island.
I mean, when the price tag is $1.8 million for each person you're gifting it to, I think you're like, you know what?
I just also
I'm
with
good.
etiquette, you don't re-gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Steven, what would you order in the rooms if you had the phone?
I mean, definitely food. I probably like cookies. I mean, but you're saying like think big, like think clown. How do you get bigger than a clown? You really can't.
Yeah, could we get an aardvark in here?
Yeah.
I mean, I would like if I was going on Beast Games, I would prepare with like perhaps here's a deck of cards that is marked.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get on the phone and I'm gonna say, hey, can I get X deck of cards?
See, that's very Taran. Yeah.
I'm definitely not okay. My strategy for this cube game is to not be in a cube with Taran.
Yes. Yeah. Could we get Emilio Estevez?
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Tie it in with a movie.
Can we just get a random person, like a famous person?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like ask
can I
to
get
see like a
Colleen
relative.
Haskell?
Like my mom. Or my kids. Can my kids come?
Yeah. Could you bring my kids? Like, see, look at them.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Daddy's here in the cube. These people want me to leave and not get any money for you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Can you tell my daughter?
Cry,
Can you just tell Margaret to her face?
Oh, you made him cry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Daddy's gonna handcuff now and lose the game. That's a good move.
Yeah.
I like that. Or maybe you use Taran's idea and have like a even cuter fake family that you could bring in. Like very, very sad.
Who can like turn on the waterworks on demand? Yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah. These are my 4 kids in wheelchairs. Yeah.
Can I get Jesse's son in here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else from Beast Games from this week? This was very, very fun. I think this might be like the halfway point.
Really? Wow. What are they going to do for the rest of the season?
I know.
We're going to spend more time with the final 13.
Well, I think we need to because, like I said, I feel like this episode we lost almost all of the major characters. Like,
yeah,
many of the people that are surviving are like seemingly secondary characters.
Okay, let's play a game. Okay, so how many people are left? What, like there's like 14 people still in the game. Okay, let's go. Let's go around. How many people can we name that are still active in the Beast Games? Okay, Steven, let you go first.
Do JC? Does he count? Because he's still sort of in it.
Yes, JC. Okay, JC.
Right. You're right. You're taking notes.
He's technically active. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Taran.
But then it's like 16 people, right? Or 15 people.
Jim,
technically active. Yes. And I'll go Monica. All right. We knocked out 1 cube.
All right. I am going to go Boy Genius.
Jack.
Damn it. Hannah, who turned down $1 million.
Okay. I'm going to go with Katie.
Oh, that was going to be mine. Oh, shoot. Briley.
Oh, good one.
Yeah,
good one.
Ian self-eliminates for.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strongest man.
Okay. So that's 8. Now I think we're stuck.
Okay, so we
there
got
might be another Tyler.
There might be more than one Tyler?
It's possible. The guy that was in there with Jack, I feel like his name might have also been Tyler.
I want to say, is there another Kate?
There is another Katie, I think.
Yeah, there's a Katie that was with Jeff, I think.
With Jeff, right. But the Katie with a K, right? Is that
there's Catey, and then with Jeff, I think that there is a Kady. Neither one is Katie.
Yeah.
So Ian eliminates for Tyler and Briley. Jeff eliminates for those 2 women. Katie and
so that's Hannah. 9. I think we might be tapped out. I'm just looking through my notes.
Just trying to think of like who else, what the other dynamics were.
I think there was a Tyler. There was a Tyler that was with Briley and Ian, and there was a Tyler that was with Jack and Sue. So there are 2 Tylers.
There you go.
So I don't know who.
What about the guy that did the thing with Vance, who turned down $1 million?
Oh gosh.
There was August, Nick and August, both those
Nick
guys.
and August. There you go.
And then, but who was like the JT with? There's that sort of like stocky guy with like kind of like the mohawk.
Those 2, I got nothing.
Yeah. JT, Brett and Corey were with JT. So I think that might be everybody.
Never picked those names up.
Okay.
But it's true. We lost a lot of like the name characters with like
so
Jeff.
Either one of JC or Jim is going to stay, plus Monica, plus Jack, then Hannah, Katie with a C, Bailey, both the Tylers, Katie with a K, Nick, August, Brett, and Corey. I think that's everybody.
Now, we think that, like, so last season, I did feel like there was consistent focus on Jeff throughout. Like, you wouldn't have necessarily like guessed he was the winner, but like when he got, at every stage, you kind of were like, yeah, I remember that guy.
Who's
I mean,
getting the winner edit, Steven?
That's my question. And I honestly, like, of this group, maybe Monica. I mean, what do you guys
The
think?
Showmance has been very consistent.
Yeah.
The other people are like, people like James was the $1 million turned down guy.
Right.
Jack has this moment. I mean, even the Showmance you could justify because they're a Showmance, they get so much attention. You're always looking for like who's in the show for no good reason.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Tyler, like big, like strong Tyler, but
Strong man.
Yeah. He's been, I feel like he's been a consistent focus.
He's always like a sidekick though,
Well, right, but now he's continuing Ian's edit.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens next week, and like lock in the predictions. I think that Jim is not going to take JC's offer.
That's what I would predict as well.
That is the right choice. That's clearly the right choice, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's and like even though Monica would have more leverage with the coin, I feel like as a pair they also have a lot of strength, especially in a group of 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens when we come back. Beast Games episode 6 next time. And of course, that if you are inspired by our Beast Game takes and you would like to see more of our writing, I know, Steven, your book is about to be released, is right around the corner.
6 days until there will be no more escape. It will be here. And I'm just absolutely terrified.
Where can people find out more about Escape?
It's StevenFishbach.com or your local bookstore are both good places.
Okay. And then Taran, how about for you?
TaranArmstrong.com, or find it anywhere that sells books, really. Behind the Mirror.
Okay. And then my book, The Tribe and I Have Spoken, is available at robhasabook.com. We'll be out later on this year. Thank you once again for joining us for Beast Games. Anything else you guys want to say this week?
I don't think so. I feel like we got it.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the Beast Games coverage. We love to see what you have to say in the comments on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.